you to picture something with me. Imagine a young person who has spent years preparing for one moment. Then one day, it finally happens. They earn the opportunity they've been chasing. Everybody is happy. Here come the pictures, the social media posts. They graduated. It feels like they reached the mountaintop. Then, just a few short weeks later, the time comes where you're leaving. A new campus, a new coach, teammates, more difficult classes, freedom. Oh yes, independence. Nobody has to wake you up. Nobody's checking on your homework. You're where you want to be. Before I go any further, I want to talk to the parents. Because I know some of you have watched your son and daughter pack those boxes. Even though you're wondering, will they be okay? Will they remember who they are? Will they make wise decisions when I'm not around? Parents, let go. If that's you, I want you to hear me. You're not just sending your child to college. You're learning how to let go while still holding on. That's one of the hardest transitions a parent will ever face. Today's message is for both of you, child and parent. Welcome to Keys to the Journey. I'm Coach K, and for years I've had the privilege of standing in front of students, parents and coaches, counselors. And after every conversation, someone always asks, Coach K, what happens after they get there? And that's why this chapter exists. It's chapter 11 in Keys to the Journey, preparing for the transition to college. I'm going to share my why. One of the reasons this chapter is so dear to me is because I've watched this transition happen time and time again. I done celebrated with families. I've cried with them, tears of joy. Students moving into dorms, believing the hardest part was over. Then, a few weeks later, the phone rings. Coach, I'm homesick. What do? I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I belong in this place. I'm struggling in class. I can't do it. Those moments are the reasons I wrote chapter 11 in Keys to the Journey. Because I realized nobody was preparing families for what's next. This is the transition that nobody talks about. Most people prepare for a destination, a physical place, but very few prepare for the transformation that's taking place. College doesn't just change your address, it changes your identity. High school gave you a reputation. College asks, who are you becoming? That reminds me of a young man named James that I want to talk about. James was a guy, pretty good athlete, the captain of his team. He hooped. Everybody knew who he was. Teachers, students, they admired him. Life was good. But here's something I've learned. Popularity is not preparation. And James pretty much coasted academically through high school. The scholarship he received early on, it was waiting for him, but it never came. His grades couldn't carry him. And instead of arriving as a star, he walked on the basketball team and nobody knew his name. Parents, one of the greatest gifts you'll ever give your child is not removing obstacles. It's preparing them to face them. Before James left, he told me a story that his father looked him in the eyes and said, son, nobody in our family has ever graduated from college. I don't even know what you're trying to do. Maybe you should just become an auto mechanic. Imagine carrying those words every practice, every exam, every lonely night. He watched his peers, his friends, some at different colleges. They started quitting classes, changing their majors, and he wondered, what if my dad was right? He would call me at times, expressing what he was feeling. The transition he was in wasn't exposing his talent. It was exposing what he was believing in. And you'll be surprised how much the ones that love you sometimes impact you the most. I don't think his father meant anything bad. I just think he was sharing the harsh reality of the generation, his family. But he shared that with his child. You're going to impact a kid's life. You're either going to be positive or you're going to be negative. Either you're going to contaminate or you could be inspiring. Your words matter, what you say to your kids. One night, he had called me. He said he was going to the library. It was just him. And that night he made a decision. He realized something, that nobody was coming to rescue him. And what were his options? Go back home, sit on the Ave, chill out, be like some of his friends? No, 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 no. If his future was going to change, one thing he realized was that he had to change first. He stopped chasing popularity and he started chasing his purpose. He stopped trying to become a great athlete. That was tough for him. He decided to become a student, which is something nobody saw in him. His old identity had to die, retire, whatever you want to call it, so a new future James could be born. Years later, my phone rang. It was James. He said, "Coach, the hardest part wasn't being a student. The hardest part was realizing my old reputation had to go, had to die, so my new future could be born." Today, that young man who almost believed he wasn't good enough, the young man who almost accepted someone else's expectations, the young man who walked on the campus when others walked away, helps America reach for the stars. Literally. James is currently an engineer at NASA. Amazing. Every transition asks one question: who are you becoming? So students, you're going to have your own James moment somewhere in your life. Middle school, high school, life in general. Don't quit. Parents, you're going to have your own James moments too. That first phone call home, the first difficult semester. Your child says, "I don't know if I could do this." When that day comes, don't immediately fix it for them. Don't immediately rescue them. First, remind them who they are, because confidence doesn't come from avoiding adversity. Confidence comes from surviving it. Students, don't mistake loneliness for failure or mistake struggle for defeat. Sometimes the man upstairs removes what you're used to, what's familiar, before he truly reveals what your future is. Several years ago, these lessons became the chapter in this book because I wanted every family to understand one simple truth. Success isn't about arriving at a place. Success is about becoming someone. So one day, a parent will look back and realize freshman year wasn't the beginning of losing a child. It was the beginning of watching them become something special. I truly believe one day a student will realize the semester that almost broke them was a semester that built them. That's the beauty of the journey. You rarely understand the purpose of the transition while you're living it. You understand it when you look back and see who you've become. If you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, don't just watch this channel. Join the Journey community, because every week we grow together. No matter where you are in life, there's another transition ahead. And when it comes, I hope you'll remember one question: who are you becoming? Like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you on the next step in the journey. My name is Coach K, and I'm out.